Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning to you. Thank God it's Friday. Uh, let's confirm we are all on the same page. If you can see my screen and you can hear my voice clearly, kindly type in hi in the comment section. So let's get this party started. Host Carrie says she can hear me. I think everything is fine from my hand here. Please try and look at your app and see if that is the reason why you're not hearing me. Everything appears to be fine from here. Okay, 660 confirms that I'm being heard. Hashitaka, good morning to you. Thanks for that confirmation. 359, good morning to you. Okay, thank you for that. Thank you, Donald to 2021. Hi, how are you today? Okay, so um I welcome you to yet another promising session of Extra and Speed Life, hosted by my humble self, Sheriff Daramola. I will be taking you on a trading journey in the next 1 hour, where we shall be evaluating the financial market using various technical parameters to identify trading opportunities lining up for us during the New York session today. And before we do, we are also going to be looking at the pairs we've been monitoring since Monday. We are going to be looking at how these pairs are doing, how the possibilities we had in the last 24 hours, and how we took advantage of those moves. And then we all understand that today is Friday, being the last trading day of the week. And one thing we always do here on the last day of the week is to not be too aggressive. We don't want to be too aggressive because it's the last day of the week. We will look at patterns, we look out for structures. If there are opportunities, we will we will plan towards them, and if there isn't, then we pass for the weekend. So without further ado, let's dive into the chart and let's see what is happening here. So the first pair we are going to be looking at, as usual, is the US oil. And on the US oil, yesterday saw price moving to the downside really big, and we had price rejecting the $85 level. So let's see what we have here. Let's replay what happened, what was our expectations, and how we were actually looking forward to taking advantage of any move here. So now if we look at the 1 hour time frame, which is the our entry time frame, we can see that price finally broke down that bullish trend line significantly well. So we had a significant breakdown during the course of yesterday's trading session. We saw the breakdown giving us a confirmation or a signal of a bearish opportunity on this one. Now that we saw the breakdown of that structure, we saw our price went to as far as the $85 level. Remember yesterday I told you how important the $85 level has been, and you can see how that area has been holding price action in the last 12 to 15 hours now, as price has consistently rejected that level, giving us a clue into the indecision that has gripped the market at this point in time. So during the live session yesterday, we were actually expecting that we are going to be having price climb right above the $88 level, which is somewhere around here, but price did not do as expected as we continue to see a downtrend scenario. Now, if we scale down to a much lower time frame and look at the structure at around that area where price broke down that level, we can see we had this kind of structure around this point. We saw the breakdown on the 5 minutes time frame. Price came back to do a retest of that structure here. I think 45 minutes after we ended the session yesterday, we saw a retest of that structure and price continued to the downside here. So if you are taking advantage of that move yesterday, you will be in almost about 300 pips in profit at this point. So, like I said yesterday, we had two scenarios. We were looking forward to either a bullish momentum or a trend continuation to the downside. And I said, if price breaks down that bullish trend line, that is a signal, then we wait for a retest of structure on lower time frame to join the decline. And lo and behold, that actually happened. And I'm sure you took advantage of that. If you are taking advantage of that, kudos for being on standby to take advantage of that move. And like I told you yesterday, as soon as price gets into the $85 level, we want to move our stop loss to either break even or lock in some profit, as we want to see how price is going to relate with this level. So what we are seeing, looking out for here, is this. We want to see if we are still going to have a breakdown of this area, and if a breakdown happens, then a retest of structure will give us further confirmation to join the decline to the downside. Remember, yesterday I highlighted somewhere around the $80 and the $78 as our take profit target here, which aligns with the support level of the descending channel we identified on the 4 hours time frame. So we are looking at somewhere here as a long-term take profit target on the US oil. And like I said, the next thing we want to be doing is to lock in some profit. So at this point, and with the current structure we have here, what we want to be doing is to lock our profit right above the $86.50 level. As we can see, this level has been a major determinant of price action in the past. So we want to be looking at this area above this level as an area where we want to be moving our stop loss to at this point in the market. So now if we have price come back to the upside here, that is this consolidation phase transposes into a breakout of structure, where a retest of that structure will probably be setting price going to the upside. Then we will be taking out at this point. Then there is a likelihood that we will be having price come back into the bullish trend line that was broken yesterday, after which we might be looking forward to a trend continuation to the downside if we have multiple rejection of that level, or we could be having a breakout of structure where a retest will give us confirmation to join the rally to the upside. So these are the scenarios we are looking at on the lower time frame. And let's take a quick look at what is happening on the higher time frame. Let's do an holistic view and confirm our possibilities for today. So now on the daily time frame, like we have also been mentioning since the beginning of the week, we can see that price has been on a long-term bullish momentum, as we were able to identify this bullish trend line after connecting the series of higher lows. And as soon as price got into this point, that is we also have that key level here at $85 mark, which was respected at one point in time in the past. Around the month of October / November last year, we saw the multiple rejection of the sellers of the $85 level by the sellers, and then we saw the breakout retest of that structure during the early month of this year. That is the January of this year, we saw the breakout retest of that structure, and in the last couple of months, price has been within this area, giving us a clue into how significant this area is. And if we look at the structure we have here, hold on a second, let's zoom in. We can see that we had the breakdown of the bullish trend line here. We witnessed the breakdown of the bullish trend line, and it looks like we had the retest of that bullish trend line here. And then also we have the breakdown of the $85 mark at this point. So with all this information, all this data we have here, it gives us a clue of how strong, how sensitive this area is. So what we want to be doing now is to look at how we're going to be trading this for today. If there is going to be an opportunity for us, especially for those who missed out on this opportunity we took advantage of yesterday. So if we scale down to the 4 hours time frame, what do we have? Now, scaling down to the 4 hours time frame, well, we can see, obviously, we can see that price broke down the $88 level, which shares a confluence with the bullish trend line we were using since the beginning of the week to guide our action. And from a technical standpoint, whenever we cite a breakdown of structure like this, we expect that price is likely going to do a reversal, probably a retest of that structure in such a way that we see price come back into somewhere around the $88 level or the bullish trend line here, where we look out for patterns that will support a trend continuation to the downside. And if we look at the $85 mark level here, hold on a second. If we look at the $85 level here, which I showed you on the 1 hour time frame, which is characterized by the multiple rejection of that area by the buyers in the last 15 hours, we can see that area also shares a confluence with the resistance point of the descending channel we have here. You can see we had the breakout of the descending channel here, and then price came back to do a retest of that area. So going into the New York session, we need to be very mindful of how we want to trade this. Let me show you that structure. We had the breakout of the resistance point of the descending channel, then price came back into this area. So there is a likelihood that the multiple rejection here could push price to the upside at this point to either respect that structure, retest that structure here to push price to the downside, or we could be having a trend continuation to the upside from here. That is, price respects that key level, which I showed you on the higher time frame to be a very strong psychological level to reckon with. So now going into the New York session today, like I said, the first thing we want to be doing is to move our stop loss to lock in some profit. Now we want to see how the structure is like. So if we bring out, hold on a second, please first of all ensure you've moved your stop loss to lock in some profit here. Somewhere above the $86.50 looks more appropriate at this point. Now what we want to do is to see what is happening here, that in the last 11 hours we want to see what is happening within this area. What is the structure telling us as we head into the New York session today? So the next thing we want to do here is to bring out our line chart, and then we connect the resistance point and the support level of this channel to identify a structure that we will be using during the New York session today. So we have a structure here at the $85.60 level, and then we have another, hold on a second, and then we have the support level here at the $84, what was that, $84.60. Okay, hold on a second, let me see, $84.70 level. So what we see here right now is more or less like a bearish rectangle pattern. So we had this impulsive move to the downside right into the $85 level, and we have been seeing price caught within a consolidation phase here, giving us a clue of an indecision in the market. And also from a technical standpoint, this is a bearish rectangular pattern. And with identification of a rectangular pattern like this, what we expect from a technical standpoint is that we're going to be having a breakdown of that channel to give us a signal of a trend continuation to the downside. So during the New York session today, if we are going to be witnessing a breakdown of that structure, then we want to be looking for further confirmations to happen in the form of a retest. So a retest is going to happen when price comes back to within this channel. It could be this point at the $84.60 area, or it could come back into the resistance level of the ascending channel we identified on the 4 hours time frame. Remember, let me zoom out a little so you can see what I'm talking about. So we had this resistance level of the ascending channel. So there is a likelihood that if we have a breakdown of that structure, price will come back within the $85 zone here. Excuse me, please. Zone here to do a rejection of that level. Then we look out for patterns on lower time frame. It could be a double top structure or a reversal pattern, whatever pattern it is. that supports a trend continuation to the downside, then we can join the decline from that point. So this, from a technical standpoint, that is what we're going to be looking forward to from a technical standpoint. However, it's not all the time price action does this. Now, the other scenario we could be having here is we could have a breakout of this channel to the upside. That is a signal that a retracement phase of this impulse leg is beginning to happen. So we remember this is an impulsive move to the downside, and if we witness a breakout of that channel during the New York session today, I want to be seeing this as a retracement move. So a retest of structure, if you are a short-term trader or a counter trend trader, you might want to be taking advantage of a retracement back into the structure, where we look out for patterns on lower time frame that supports a trend continuation to the upside. So if this, like I said, this is likely going to be a retracement phase of that impulsive move to the downside. If you are a long-term trader and this happens, then you want to wait for price action to come within our golden zone area to take advantage of a trend continuation to the downside. And the only way we can identify our golden zone area is to bring out our Fibonacci retracement tool, run it through the previous impulse leg, and what do we have here? We should be having somewhere within the 50% area and the 70% of the previous impulse leg as an area we want to be looking forward to selling opportunities. So we have somewhere here. Let's draw this out and label it for the sake of clarity. So we have our sell window right here on a long-term perspective, and let me place this here, especially for those who are taking counter trend opportunity. So this could be our TP target for counter trend. So I will explain to you that in a moment. Just let's finish the labeling here, and I would like to give this a green color. All right, good. So this is what we are expecting. Let me delete this. Okay. So this is what we're expecting now. Let me extend this out a little bit. So if price breaks out of that channel, remember we saw multiple rejection here, which could probably lead to a breakout of this channel. If a breakout happens, a retest of structure, a counter trend trader will want to take advantage of this move, after which, remember, when price breaks out, that's just a signal. We want to wait for price to give us further confirmation to join the decline, and the confirmation will come in form of a retest of the structure. So if a retest happen and you're a counter trend trader, you want to take advantage of this move with your take profit target right within the zone, right around the $87.20 area and the $89 level. And if you look at the TP target around this area, it's shares a confluence with the bullish trend line we identified here. You can see we had the breakdown of the bullish trend line, and like I told you, if we witness a breakdown or breakout of structure like this, we expect that price is likely going to come back to do a retest of the structure, where we look out for patterns to join the decline. So if you're a counter trend trader and you take advantage of that breakout retest of this channel here, then we want to be looking at somewhere around here as our take profit target, which will be dovetailing to something between the between 170 pips and a maximum of about 350 pips to catch here. However, if you are looking at this from a long-term perspective and considering that the price has broken the bullish trend line we identified on the daily time frame, hereby giving us a long-term bearish perspective on the higher time frame, we had a breakdown of that structure, we had a retest around this area, then what we want to be doing is to look out for reversal patterns here. So on a long-term perspective, we want to be looking for selling opportunities around this area. Hold on. So it could come in form of a reversal pattern, a double top structure, a head and shoulder pattern, breakout retest to structure, then we can join the decline. So that is the second scenario we're going to be looking forward to here. So like I said, the first scenario, which is from a technical standpoint, is that this is looking like a bearish rectangle. So we expect that a breakdown should give us a signal of a trend continuation to the downside, and if that happens, we want to be patient enough to wait for further confirmation to happen in the form of a retest of the structure, where we'll be looking out for opportunities on lower time frame to take advantage of the potential decline. However, if we have a breakout move of this channel, that is price breaks out of this channel to the upside, we want to be seeing this move as a retracement phase of the impulse leg we identify here. So we wait for a retest of structure, we take advantage of a reversal pattern on lower time frame to join the rally into the sell window we identify between the $87.20 area and the $89 area. So I hope I made myself very clear here, and if you need further clarification in what I've just discussed so far, feel free to drop your inquiries in the comment section, and I will be willing to be of help in that regard. So let me take the next 10 to 15 seconds to read through the chart to see if there are any questions regarding what I've just discussed, and if there isn't, then we move on to the next pair. So let's see what's happening in the charts. Okay, so we have 3833 says he's hearing two voices. I'm not sure. From my indicator here, it doesn't seem that way, but if you like, please just shut down your app again and then restart it all over to have a better sound quality. Okay. Justin, good morning to you. How are you doing today? 7036, good morning. 149 is asking, now buy or sell. You're in a hurry, please. We need to be patient here. I just painted out two scenarios that we want to be looking out for. At this point in time, price is caught within a consolidation phase right now. Like I showed you, we have this impulsive move to the downside. Price is caught within a consolidation phase, giving us a clue into the indecision in this market right now. So it's an indecision phase right now. The participants in this market are yet to decide where price is going from this point. So what we're waiting for is a signal. So the signal is going to come in form of a breakdown of the structure. If we see a breakdown of the structure, what we're going to be waiting for is a retest to give us confirmation to join the sell. That is the first scenario we are looking at. And if we have a breakout of the structure to the upside here, then this is a confirmation that there is a bullish signal coming in. Then we'll be patient enough to wait for price to come back to do a retest of the structure to give us further confirmation to join the rally to the upside. So this is like a two scenario. We are waiting for confirmed signals to happen, and the signal will only happen in the form of the breakdown or breakout of the structure we have here. So we are waiting for this, for participants in this market to make a decision right around this area. So right now we are in an indecision phase right now. We are waiting for signals to happen, and the signal will definitely come in form of a breakout or breakdown of the structure. It's not until when we sight a signal that we want to be planning to take a trade on the US oil at this juncture in the market. I hope my explanation is clear. 149. Okay, thank you Ashitaka for that clarification. So it said you should go back, close your small windows and come back, then the voice will be okay. So please do that. I'm very sure Ashitaka is talking from experience, please. All right, so 628, good morning to you. 325, hello, how are you doing today? Good morning. All right, so let's move on. In the absence of none, I guess my explanation is clear right now, and I hope 149 understands what I just explained here. So let's move on to the next pair. The next pair we're looking at is the US tech, and I was able to take advantage of that opportunity that came up yesterday. I didn't miss it, as and I hope you did as well. Let's quickly do a run of what our expectations were yesterday on the US tech, and let's see how the price evolved into the situation we have right now. So yesterday, during the live session yesterday, we were around this point yesterday where we were seeing this engulfing candle breaking down the $12,120 level area, where we were looking for hold on a second, let me see. So we saw this breakdown of the $12,120 area. We actually identified this temporary buy zone area yesterday. We were thinking that since price has been rejecting the $12,000 level and taking into consideration this engulfing candle that broke out of the 12,000 dollar area, we were thinking probably price is going to come into this temporary buy zone around the $12,070 area, where we look out for reversal pattern and then a breakout retest of structure to join the rally to the upside. But that did not happen, though we had signals around this temporary buy area where we saw multiple rejection, giving us a sign that we might be having a buy opportunity. So initially I actually took that buy opportunity here, but got stopped out when I saw the multiple rejection of this key level at the $12,120 area. So this is what we saw yesterday. Hold on a second, let me show you on the lower time frame, so that we have a better perspective of what we were actually looking at. So this is what we saw yesterday. I took advantage of this move here. So we saw this touch, price rejected, it came to this neckline. We saw this touch here, so I was thinking probably price will be going to the upside. So we expect that price will break out, do a retest, then it goes to the upside, but it didn't. So what we saw was multiple rejection of the $12,120 area. We saw this rejection, and then what happened afterwards? What happened afterwards? We saw this boom. Price broke down the $12,000 level, and definitely that's a signal based on our trading pattern here on the live session. Whenever we cite a breakdown of structure like this, we want to wait for confirmations to happen. Now, immediately price broke down the structure during the New York session yesterday, I prepared myself for a selling opportunity at a retest of structure, and that happened as price got back into the $12,140 area. So a sell stop was set here, and then we took advantage of the move to the downside. So I had this first entry here, this one here, this purple line. You can see this purple line. I had the first entry here. Then when price came back up here, I had another one at this point, and then we saw how price moved to the downside from that point. So if you are taking advantage of this move yesterday, kudos to you for being on standby to take advantage of that trading opportunity. So price did not move bullish as expected, as we didn't see price climb right above the $12,120 area, or we didn't see candle even close right above that area. So we took about 270 pips here at around the $11,800 area, and price appears to still continue to go to the downside. So if you had missed this move yesterday, well, let's see if we're going to be having structures where, let's see if the market is going to give us a second chance to take advantage of those trade. So the next thing I'll be doing here is to delete all the structures here so that we can have a clean slate. Then we can actually look at what we are going to be looking forward to today. So what do we have here? Let's hold on and see. Let's delete this. This is no longer relevant as price did not reject the $12,000 area. So let's delete this one as well, and then let's scale up to the higher time frame. Let's take a quick look at the higher time frame perspective on the higher time frame. So right now we are on the daily time frame, and as you can see, we have a bearish scenario. We were able to connect the series of lower highs here to give us that result and bearish trend line. And one thing we also noticed since somewhere in the month of June, we saw our price has been caught within an ascending channel. We saw this move, we saw the double bottom structure here, and price was caught within this ascending channel. But later on in the month of August, we saw price come back within the channel, which led into an outright breakdown of the channel, and then we saw multiple rejection of the neckline at the $12,000 area. And remember, from a technical standpoint, whenever we cite a breakdown of structure like this, we expect that price, hold on a second, we had a breakdown of structure like this, we expect that price is going to come back and do a retest of that structure. And now a retest happened, though I personally missed this move anyway, but a retest happened here. We saw a rejection of the support level of the ascending channel, which also shares a confluence with the bearish trend line we identified here to push price to the downside. So we saw our price decline to the downside, even breaking down the neckline at the $12,000 mark. Remember that $12,000 level has been a major determinant of price action in the past. If we go to as far as the month of May, we can see how that level has been a major determinant of price action. Now that we have a breakdown of that structure in the last couple of days, that tells us a lot about the current market structure we have here. So now when we scale down to a much lower time, let's go to the 4 hours time frame and let's see how the structure is. So we have the neckline here. Hold on, allow me to bring this closer enough so that, okay, good. So we have the breakdown of the structure finally. So this is our 4 hours time frame. So this is where our attention is going to be right now. So we had this impulsive move to the downside, followed by multiple rejection with an intention that we could be having a bullish momentum, but price came back to break down that neckline. So now that we have the breakdown of this neckline here, and if you had missed that move, well, the only thing we could be doing here on the US deck is to be patient enough to wait for further confirmations to happen. And whenever, remember, we cite a breakdown of structures like this, we want to wait for price to give us a confirmation in the form of a retest of that structure. So there is a likelihood that price will come back into the $12,000 area with the multiple rejection of this level to send price going further to the downside on the US deck. So what we want to be doing here from a long-term perspective is to actually be looking for selling opportunities considering the long-term bearish momentum we have here. So you can see that when I zoom out, you can see that we are on a long-term bearish momentum on the US tech. So the only thing we want to be looking forward to here is looking for selling opportunities. You don't want to be buying this pair right now. And the $12,000 level, which was broken successfully yesterday, is another signal confirming that this bearish momentum is very, very strong. So going into the New York session today, I'm not sure if we are going to be having the confirmation for the sell continuation, looking at what we have here on the 4 hours time frame. And the only way I'll be looking for a sell momentum on a 4 hours time frame here is to look out for price coming back to do a retest of this $12,000 level, where I look out for patterns on lower time frame to join the decline. So I'm not sure this is going to happen today because it might likely take about 12 to 18 hours for this to happen. I'm not sure that's going to happen today, but if it happens, if we I think we have a major event coming up today as well. Let's look at the economic calendar. We have the Michigan Consumer Sentiment Index coming up in I think 6 hours from now, which is also a very high prioritized event that is likely going to have a major effect on price movement. So there is a likelihood that we could have a sharp rejection of the neckline. We never can tell, but let's see what happens. So from the 4 hours time frame, what we are looking forward to is price coming back into the $12,000 area, where we are going to be looking for selling opportunities from this point to join the decline. Now let's scale down to the 1 hour time frame, or a much more lower time frame. Let's see what is happening. So if we go down to the 1 hour time frame here, we can see that as soon as price tested the $18,000 20 area, hold on a second, we saw the breakdown of the $12,000 area. We saw the retest giving us a confirmation to join the decline, and as soon as price got into this point, we can see that price has been caught within a consolidation phase here, though the consolidation phase looks more bearish, giving us something like a descending wedge. So now that we have this kind of structure, there is a likelihood that we could be having a breakout of the structure, a retest of the structure to send price going to the upside. And remember, this is going to be something like a retracement phase of the impulsive move that started here. So we are still within a bearish trend on this one, so it is likely going to be a retracement phase where we'll be looking for bearish opportunity at this point here. So if you're a counter trend trader, you feel comfortable taking advantage of a counter trend, then you could be looking at a breakout retest of the structure to join the rally to the upside here, which will be dovetailing to somewhere around close to 200 pips thereabout on this one if you are a counter trend trader. And remember, it's a bearish trend. If you take advantage of that counter trend, you want to be moving your stop loss accordingly to protect your position against any sudden pullback that is likely going to be happening from this point. So what I want to be doing as we head into the New York session today is to make our job easier. So what I want to do here is to identify the structure so that we can use it as a yardstick for trading opportunities today. So what I'll be doing is to scale down to a much lower time frame, like the 50 minutes time frame. Let's identify the structure and use it as a yardstick for trading opportunities during the New York session today. So I bring out my line chart here, and then we identify this level. We have something like this here, and then so we have something like a neckline here. So let me make this an outright line like this, so we can see multiple rejection of this level. We can see how price has been rejecting it. So we might be looking forward to a breakout retest. If you're a counter trend trader, if a breakout happens, a retest will give you a confirmation to join the rally into this point. So let me bring out my candle chart. Okay, so we have something like this going forward. So we wait for a breakout of structure. That is, you're a counter trend trader, but for me personally, I'm going to be waiting for price to come within this 12,000 area to look out for selling opportunities. So, but if you're a counter trend trader, a breakout retest of structure should incite a the beginning of a retracement phase. And remember, as price moves in our direction, we want to be moving our stop loss accordingly. So the next thing we want to do here is to identify the neckline of the structure. So if we bring out our line chart, we have somewhere around here. Hold on a second. We get, I think, somewhere around the $18.20 area, somewhere around here. I will show you why that is in a moment, but let me label it first so that we have a visual understanding of what I'm talking about here. So look at what we have. So we can see that this level has been a major determinant in the last 11 hours. We can see multiple rejection. Then we had a breakdown. We had a retest of this key level. Price broke down, and then we are seeing this scenario here. So what we are going to be So what we are going to be looking forward to now is an outright breakdown of the, this is 11,820. Sorry about that. 11,820 $20. Okay. All right. So if we continue to see price break above the $11,820 area, we want to see a significant breakout, a retest. For counter trend traders, you can join the rally into that point. And then if you are a long-term trader like me, wait for selling opportunities from this point. However, if price does not break above the $11,820 level, then one thing we want to be looking forward to is this. Remember, we have the structure here. After the breakdown of the $11,820 level here, we had multiple rejection. We had a higher low, giving us a clue of a trend continuation, a counter trend continuation to the upside here. But if we have a breakdown of this level, then we might be seeing it as a bearish continuation. So if price does not break above the 11,820 and we see a breakdown of this level, then we want to be seeing this as a signal of a bearish momentum. Then we wait for price to give us further confirmation in the form of a retest of this trend line or this one here. We look out for patterns, then we can join the decline to the downside. So this is how we want to trade the US tech going into the New York session today. Let's see how price is going to play out in the next couple of hours. So let's get ourselves prepared. So we have two perspectives here. One is for the counter trend traders, those who love taking counter trend opportunities, short-term traders as well. A breakout of the structure, gives us a signal that a bullish momentum is coming in. Remember, we are not getting too excited as we want to wait for price to give us further confirmation, which is likely going to come in the form of a retest of the $11,820 level or this bearish trend line. Then we look out for patterns on lower time frame to join the rally into the 12,000 zone. Now, from the 12,000 zone is an area we are looking forward to multiple rejections or reversal pattern by the sellers to push price to the downside here. And if price does not climb above the $11,820 and we continue to see a trend continuation to the downside in such a way that we have a breakdown of this level, then that's a bearish signal. We wait for price to give us further confirmation in the form of a retest of this level, then we join the decline to the downside. So if you have any question regarding what I've just discussed so far, feel free to drop in your inquiries in the comment section and let's see if I can be of help. I'll be taking the next 10 to 15 seconds to run through the chat and see if there are any questions regarding what I've just discussed so far before we move on to the next pair. So let's see what's happening here. Okay, Steamroller, good morning to you. How are you doing today? Okay, all right. I'll look at that. I think AUD US is part of what we are looking at so far. So we will definitely look at it, please. All right, Steamroller. Okay, Richma, hi. How are you? Good morning. 1117. Good morning to you. Petra Rock. Good morning. So let's move on to the next pair quickly before we start running out of time. And the next pair we are going to be looking at is, what pair is that again? Let me see. We are going to be looking at we are going to be looking at the AUD USD. Now let's see what is happening on the AUD USD. AUD USD has been very bearish, and we were actually expecting that bullish momentum to happen yesterday. So let's quickly do a recap of, let's do a replay of what our expectations were yesterday and how we intended to trade the AUD yesterday, and then we go forward to looking at potential opportunities for us this New York session today. Let's see if we are going to still be having any opportunity lining up for us this New York session. So the first thing we were here yesterday. Where were we yesterday? We were around this point yesterday. Around the $0.67300 level. And one thing we did yesterday was to identify a yardstick at around the 0.67400 level, where we were looking forward to a breakout of that structure to give us a signal. Though we had something like a bullish momentum around this area. Buyers were trying to come in at this point, but we were unable to see a breakout of the 0.67400 area to give us the signal we were looking for. We were actually looking forward to a breakout of that structure, where a retest of that level with multiple rejection on lower time frame will be giving us a bullish opportunity. But that did not happen as price continued to find lower lows and lower highs. Now, when we looked at what was happening on the higher time frame, we went to the 4 hours time frame on this one, and what thing we observed on the 4 hours time frame is that we are within a strong demand zone, and within that demand zone we can see since the month of July, we can see how that level has been holding price supported. Anytime price comes within this area, any attempt by the sellers to push price to the downside was met with stiff resistance by the buyers, pushing price to the upside. Another one happened in the month of September. During the first week of this month, we saw multiple rejection of that level as well. And then during the course of this week, we've been seeing we've seen that price broke down that level, giving us a clue into the strength of the sellers at this point. So the sellers are actually trying to break through the structure. That's the scenario we have. And what we did yesterday was to identify a key level at the 0.67300 area, where we were looking forward to price breaking down that area during the New York session yesterday to give us a clue of a trend continuation to the downside. So like I told you yesterday, I said if price breaks down this demand zone, that is, we have candle closing right below this demand zone, then it's likely we are going to be looking forward to selling momentum on the AUD USD. And if that happens, remember, we don't want to get too excited at the sight of a signal. We want to wait for price to give us further confirmation to join that decline. So if we see a breakout of this demand zone, then a retest of structure like this will give us further confirmation to join the decline. So this is the scenario we painted yesterday, and how did price play out? So let's go back to the 1 hour time frame. So on the 1 hour time frame, what did we see yesterday? We saw the outright breakdown of the 0.67300 level. We saw the breakdown of that level here, and then we saw price come back to do a retest of that area, where definitely a patterns on lower time frame will support a trend continuation to the downside. So if you are taking the selling opportunity here, please okay, kudos to you first of all. Then the next thing we want to be doing is to move our stop loss to break even. So right now, with the current structure we have here, it appears that the bearish momentum is very, very strong. Though we are within a demand zone, remember, but the only time I will be advising us to buy the AUD USD at this point is to wait for a signal to happen in such a way that we see that the buyers are actually very strong. Because with what we are saying since the beginning of the week, it appears that the sellers are very, very strong here. So we want to wait for a signal of a bullish momentum to happen in such a way that we see price break above the 0.67300 area, and that will give us a signal that a bullish momentum is coming in. And a confirmation is likely going to come in the form of a retest of structure, where we look out for patterns to join the rally to the upside. If this is not happening, well, it's a no for any buy opportunity for me here on the AUD USD. Now, going into the New York session today, how do we intend to trade this? Now, looking at the current structure we have here, I can see that we have a key level here, and we can see our price has been respecting the 0.67200 area in the last couple of days. Now, look at what we have here. Let me delete the 0.67300 level. Okay, so we have something. Remember, we are still within we are still within the demand zone, remember? And look at what we have here. Look at what buyers were doing at this point. Buyers were trying to push price to the upside. They in fact successfully pushed price to the upside here. Then price came back into the zone, and the attempts by buyers to push price to the upside from this level was met with stiff resistance at around the 0.67500 area, and since then we saw the breakdown of this level. So the breakdown of this level here has given us a signal that the sellers are actually strong in this market. And now when the signal happens, it's advisable that we remain patient, that price gives us a confirmation in the form of a retest of that structure. And what happened? We had a retest here during the early hours of today to send price going to the downside. So since we have a retest of the structure here, we join the decline from this point to the downside. And one thing I'll be saying is this: if you are joined the decline after the retest of the structure, you want to be moving your stop loss to break even at this point. Why is that? We are still within a demand zone. We are still within a demand zone that has been holding buying power in the past, and because of this, we want to protect our position, as there is a likelihood that we could have a strong bullish signal that will push price from that area, push out from that area. So what we are doing here, if you took advantage of that sell momentum, please move your stop loss to break even at this point. Let's see if we are going to see that bullish signal come in during the New York session today. Remember, we have a key event coming up in 5 hours from now, and that is the Michigan Consumer Sentiment Index, which has a tendency of making a major impact on price movements today. So now there is a likelihood that price breaks out of the structure. If that happens, we want to be patient to wait for price to give us a confirmation in the form of a retest of structure to join the rally to the upside. So if this does not happen, then a sell momentum is what we want to be looking forward to, right below the 0.67200 area. So this is how we want to trade the AUD USD. Steamroller, are you still in here? Please be mindful of your buying potential here. As long as price continue to rally below the 0.67200 area, we want to be looking forward to selling opportunities. But if we see sight a breakout of the structure, we want to wait for confirmations to happen before we want to be joining that bullish momentum from this point. So like I said, steamroller, if you are going to buy the AUD USD, it's advisable that we see a spring out of this area. We want to see buyers taking out all the sell position at this point. Now all the sell positions here, we want to see buyers taking it out to give us that signal. Then we wait for confirmations to happen before we join the rally to the upside. And where will our take profit target be for any buying opportunity here? Well, remember we have a key level right at the 0.68500 level on the higher time frame. And let me show you that key level on the higher time frame. Let's go back to the daily time frame here and let's see what we have. We can see that this is the key level here. It has been a major determinant of price action in the past. We can see how this level held price supported at one point. Then we saw selling momentum, rejection, then buying opportunity again. Then we saw multiple rejection here, and then we saw another breakdown retest of this level. We saw the sell momentum here on Tuesday. So that is why we are identifying that area as a very strong key level to use as our guide. Now, if we are going to be buying from here, that is, if we sight the signal that we are looking forward to, then a breakout retest of that level at the 0.67200 happens, then we want to be having somewhere around here as our take profit target. And if we look closely into the structure we have here, you can see that the bearish trend line that has been holding price action since somewhere in the month of April, we have a temporary bearish trend line here, also shares a confluence with our TP target zone. So what we want to be seeing is to see how price is going to relate with this bearish trend line here. So that is why we want to have our take profit target around that area. So if price is going to break out of that trend line, then we might be looking forward to adding more position at a retest of structure to the upside. And if we have multiple rejection of that trend line, then we might be seeing that as a bearish signal. So this is how we want to trade the AUD USD. I'm not sure if you have any question. If you do, please drop it in the comment section, and I will be taking the next 10 to 15 seconds to read through the chat and see if there are any question whatsoever on this one. Then we move on to the next pair. 685 it was break over 18, 11, 820. I'm not sure what you're talking about. Oh, you might be talking about the US tech, I guess. Break above the 1820. What do you mean by that? Please clarify. 11, 1820. Okay, so you're saying that it broke above it. Is that what you're saying? It's not yet. It hasn't broken above it yet. Price is still around the $11,820. So we want to, if you're a counter trend trader, you want to see an outright breakout of that level like this, then we want to wait for price to give us further confirmation in the form of a retest of the structure. If it doesn't happen, I will pass that trade. I will pass the trade. I will pass the trade. I'm not in a hurry to take that bullish momentum here. So we want to be patient enough. We see a breakout of the structure, then we're patient enough to see a retest of structure to join the rally to the upside. So this is likely going to take between an hour to 2-3 hours before this can happen. So you must be able to be patient enough for this to happen. So that is that on that 685. I hope I clarified myself there. Then we have, okay, 660 is greeting. Good morning. Porto 54, good morning to you. Yes, I'm 25% up on my buy, so I will set a close stop loss to buy. All right, it's okay. Just lock your profit, lock your position to protect your position, please. It's still looking very bearish at that point, so I'm looking forward to a breakout of this area here. So if you are taking advantage of this point here on the 15 minutes time frame, you want to lock in your profit somewhere around the 0.6800 area. So as you can see here, it looks more like a double bottom structure. You see double bottom structure here. So price has moved like this, so we want to be locking. If you are taking advantage of that move, we have a setup here. So right below the 0.6870, right below that area, looks appropriate to be locking your profit. So anywhere below this could be so personally for me, I want to see a break above this area to give me further confirmation that a bullish momentum is here to stay. So that is that. Zanka wants us to do Euro USD. I think Euro USD is the next pair we are going to be looking at now. Justin, you're welcome. All right, Eskil, I'm sorry I can't speak French. I'm sorry. So let's move on to the next pair now. So the next pair is the Euro USD, and like I told you yesterday, we have a similar scenario with the situation we have on the AUD USD. And let's do a quick replay of what our expectations were yesterday before we go on to talk about how we intend to trade the Euro USD today. So the first scenario we're looking at yesterday was we identified the key level at the $1 area, which is a very strong psychological level. And you can see as soon as price broke that level to the downside on Tuesday, we have seen price caught within a consolidation phase. We have multiple rejection of that level has been happening. So you can see price has been rejecting that $1 level since Tuesday, and we continue to see price rally right below that level. So going into the New York session, yesterday we were expecting that price is going to break above that $1 level to give us that confirmation of a bullish momentum that we are looking forward to. So what we were expecting yesterday was to see an outright breakout of this $1 level, give us a buy signal. Then we wait for confirmations to happen in the form of a retest of this $1 mark to join the rally to the upside. But unfortunately, that did not happen as we continue to see multiple rejection of the $1 mark in the last 24 hours to push price to the downside. Now, as we head into the New York session today, one thing I also want to call our attention to is the fact that price is right within or right above a very strong demand zone. Now let me show you what demand zone is we are talking about here. So if we scale up to the daily time frame, what do we see on the daily time frame? Though we have a very strong bearish momentum holding price action since the beginning of the year, but one thing we observed as soon as the mid month of July, we saw that any time price comes within the 0.99600 area, we saw rejection by the buyers. We saw the first one in the month of July, and let me zoom this in a little bit. So we saw the first rejection in the month of July, and in the month of August we saw multiple rejection of this level. Right into the month of September here we saw multiple rejection of this level, giving us a clue into the strength of the buyers at this point. And in addition to this data we have here, it is important we note that this level has been the lowest point the euro has ever been in the last 20 years, and there is a likelihood that the euro might be very cheap for buying opportunity to start coming in at this point. So that is why we are looking forward to buy signal right above the $1 mark. And like I said, like I showed you on the 1 hour time frame, let's go back to the 1 hour time frame. We are right above this demand zone. Now, for me to sell the Euro USD, I will not be selling the Euro USD unless I see price breaks down that demand zone. Like I told you, I'm a long-term trader, so I will always look for bearish opportunities when a signal comes, and the signal will only come if I sight a breakdown of the demand zone here, that is price takes out all the buy position here, then that gives me a signal that a bearish momentum is coming in. And remember, we're not getting too excited when we sight signals like this. We want to be patient enough to wait for confirmations to happen before we join that decline. So a confirmation will happen in the form of a retest of the structure, after which we look out for patterns on lower time frame to join that decline. So right now that has not happened, so I'm still tending towards a bullish perspective on the Euro USD. So let's scale down to the 1 hour time frame again, and let's look at the structure one more time. Now look at what has been happening since Tuesday. Here we can see how price has continually rejected the 0.99600 level area, which is right above that demand zone we identified on the daily time frame, giving us a clue into the strength of the buyers at this point. So what I'll be waiting for during the New York session today is to see a breakout of the $1 mark for me to be able to be confident of taking advantage of a bullish momentum here. So if I see a breakout of the $1 mark, then I want to look out for retest of structure like this price comes back into the $1 area to give me further confirmation to join the rally to the upside. So this is how I intend to trade the Euro USD going forward. So I'm not sure it is going to happen today, but I'll keep my attention, keep my radar on the Euro USD, looking out for that breakout to happen. So as long as we are still right above the demand zone we identify on the daily time frame, I'm not thinking of selling the Euro USD. So this is how we intend doing that. So if we are going to have our take profit target, well, we have a structure around the 1.0100 area, which is somewhere here, which is our key level we identified on the daily time frame. So let me show you what's key level, how important that key level is. So on the daily time frame here, you can see what happened around the 1.0100 level. We can see multiple rejection at one point or another. We either have a selling niche around that area or a demand niche around that area at one point in time, giving us a clue into how strong that level is. So we want to have our take profit target around that area, and let's see what price. Hold on a second, please. I'm sorry. I'm sorry for the break in transmission. So we are still looking forward to buying opportunities on this one. If we are waiting for that signal to happen in the form of a breakout of the $1 level, and we said our take profit target should be around the 1.0100 area. It could be somewhere right above that area or right below that area. That is where price started this week. Let's see how price is going to relate with this level. Are we going to be having a trend continuation to the upside from here, or are we going to be having multiple rejection to send price going to the downside one more time? So let's see how price plays out. So we should be aiming at a possible bullish momentum during the New York session today on the Euro USD. So if you have any question regarding what we just discussed here, feel free to drop in your inquiries in the comment section. So let me quickly take some time to read through the chat and see if we have any question regarding what I just explained so far. Okay, Sammy Blanco says he's new on this one and he doesn't. Okay, well, I would advise you to, I hope you understand what the forex market is. I hope you understand what trading is all about. We come here to analyze the market. We try to look out for trading opportunities lining up for us during the New York session on a daily basis, and I would advise you to join us every day, and with time you will get to understand how this works. And if you also have any pair you want us to look at, feel free to drop it in the comment section, and I will try as much as possible to inculcate it into our plans. So it's more advisable on Monday mornings you give us the plan so that we can continue to monitor that trade throughout the week. So that is that, Sam Blanco. Well, with time you get to understand that. Welcome, Scott Venji, glad to have you around. Okay, so it's wow, it's already 12, it's past 12 already here, and I'm out of time. So let's quickly do a recap of what we've talked about so far today before I call it a day. So the first pair we look at today was the US oil, and what was our expectation on the US oil. So let's scale down to the 1 hour time frame here where we are trying to make our decision here. So like I said yesterday, we took advantage of this bearish momentum yesterday and were able to scoop about how many pips that was. Let's see, we're able to scoop about 300 pips here on the sorry, let me, what's happening, I'm trying to okay. Uh-oh. Okay, so we were able to take a selling momentum after we cited a breakdown of that bullish trend line, which was supposed to hold bullish momentum for the week, but that did not happen. Then we saw price come down into the $85, which is a very strong psychological level we identified on the daily time frame, remember? And then what did we observe? We observed our price has been caught within a consolidation phase right between the $85.70 and the $84.70 area, giving us a clue into the indecision that has gripped the market at this point in time. And if we look at this from a technical standpoint, it is more or less like a rectangle bearish pattern. And when we cite a rectangular bearish pattern like this, it looks more like a trend continuation pattern. And what are we going to be looking forward to from a technical standpoint is that price should break down that pattern in such a way that we have a breakdown of the support level of this channel. Then we wait for a confirmation to happen in the form of a retest of structure, where we will be looking out for patterns to join the decline to the downside on this one. However, if we have a breakout of the channel here, that is price breaks right above the channel, price breaks right above this channel here, then we want to be patient for a retest of structure should happen. And this is more for those who love taking counter trend opportunities or short-term trade on the US on the US oil. So if you see price reject this level, then we want to be looking out for structures to join the rally into this area. So like I said, this is more or less going to, if price breaks out that channel to the upside, this is more or less going to be a retracement of this previous impulse leg we identified here. So we look out for price coming into the sell window here, and also a TP target for you if you have taken that bullish move at a breakout retest of that structure. So now, for those who love taking counter trend opportunities, I will advise that you wait for price to come within the sell window here, right between the $87 area and the $89 mark, where we want to be looking out for patterns that will support a trend continuation to the downside. And that pattern could come in form of a reversal pattern. It could be a double top structure. Then we look out for patterns to join the decline to the downside. So that's how we want to trade the US oil. Then we went on to talk about the US tech, where we took advantage of a bearish momentum yesterday, and we took about 270 pips here as we saw the breakdown retest of the $12,000 mark, which is a very strong and psychological level we identified on the higher time frame. And going into the New York session today, what was our plan? We said, okay, fine, we have a channel already, we have price caught within a consolidation phase, and what we did was to look at how the structure has been playing out. We tried to identify that structure by scaling down to the lower time frame. We went on to the 15 minutes time frame, we identified the structure, and we said if we cite a breakout of that structure, this is a good opportunity for counter trend traders or short-term traders, if you would mind. So we said if a breakout of the $11,820 happens, that we already have a breakout already right now, a retest of the structure should give us a confirmation to join the rally to the upside. That's for counter trend traders anyway. And I told you that if price continues to the upside in our direction, that is the counter trend direction, we want to be conscious enough to move your stop loss accordingly. As remember, we are on a very strong bearish momentum here, and you don't want to get caught up in any sudden scenario where price continues to the downside from that area. So as price continue to move in our favor to the upside, you move your stop loss to break even. So now our take profit target should be around the $12,000 mark, and if you are a long-term trader like me, I want to wait at this bus stop here at the $12,000 mark to look out for selling opportunities. So we are looking out for selling opportunities here. We look forward to price, hold on a second, price coming into this area where we look out for patterns on lower time frame to join the decline. So that is one scenario we're looking forward to. And we said, okay, if price does not break above that $11,820 area and price if price, okay, so we identified a structure here on the 15 minutes time frame, and we said if price breaks down that level, price breaks down this level, then that's a bearish signal. When price breaks down this level, we wait for a retest of structure, we join the decline to the downside. So right now like you've seen now, we saw a breakout of the $11,820 level. Please and please still be patient. We want to wait for structures. We want to see structures. We want to see multiple rejection of this resistant level, something like this: multiple rejection to join the rally, or sharp rejection of that level to join the rally to the upside. So if that does not happen, there is a likelihood that we could have a breakdown of the structure, and if that happens, a retest should give us a confirmation to join the decline. So now moving on, we talked about the AUD USD, where we cited we were expecting a bullish momentum on this one since the beginning of the week, and though price has continued to rally to the downside. And one thing we identified today is that, okay, fine, since we are within a demand zone, we should be looking forward to buying opportunities. But we were able to identify a structure on the higher time frame at around the 0.67150, which has been a support level for quite a while, since in the beginning of this month. But during the course of yesterday's trading session, we saw the breakdown of that level, giving us a signal of a bearish momentum. And right now, we saw the confirmation happen in the form of a retest of that structure. So I've suggested that we continue on a bearish momentum here, with our stop loss move to right above this 0.67200 area. And like I was advising Steamroller during the session today, I was saying that I will not be buying the USD unless I see a breakout of the 0.67200 level. That is, price breaks out of the structure here, move to the upside, taking out all the sell positions here. That was emphatic yesterday. Want to see a breakout of that level, then price comes back to give me a confirmation in the form of a retest of structure before I will be joining the rally to the upside. So, but at the moment, for those who are taking advantage of the selling opportunity after citing the breakdown retest of the structure here, well, you want to move your stop loss to break even at this point, as there is a likelihood that a breakout of that level could happen, considering the fact that we are still within a demand zone. So let's see how price plays out in the next couple of hours, and I hope you will be on standby to take advantage of that move when it finally happens. Now we went on to talk about the Euro USD, where we are still expecting a bullish momentum here on the Euro USD, considering the obvious that price is still right above the demand zone we identified on the daily time frame. Remember, this is daily time frame. We had this demand zone, and we can see how the buyers has been holding price supported since the month of July. Anytime price comes within the zone, we've been witnessing multiple rejection right around this area. And in addition to this data, it is important that you know that this is the lowest point. This is the lowest point the price of the euro has ever been in the last 20 years, and there is a likelihood that participants in this market might be seeing it as very cheap enough. And if you look at what has been happening since Tuesday, we can see multiple rejection of this level right above the demand zone, giving us a clue into the strength of the buyers at this point in the market. So what I'm looking forward to today is to look out for a signal which is likely going to come in the form of a breakout of the $1 mark, which is a very strong psychological level. So I'm waiting for price to break above this level to give me that bullish signal I'm looking forward to. Then a retest of the structure here should give me further confirmation to join the rally to the upside. So if that happens, we breakout retest happens, we want to be joining the rally with a take profit target somewhere around the 1.0100 level and the 1.01500 level. We should be dovetailing to somewhere around 100 to around 150 pips to catch on the Euro USD. So let's see how price plays out in the next couple of hours, and let's be on standby to take advantage of that move when it finally happens. So on this note, I'm going to be calling it a day, and before I do, my advice on a regular basis is that we don't want to get too excited at the sight of a signal. We want to wait for price to give us further confirmation to join the potential momentum. Remember, whenever you sight a setup, please wait for signals to happen. Let signal happen, and signal will always happen in the form of a breakout or breakdown of a structure. And if that happens, we wait for confirmations before we join whatever direction price is heading at. So I wish you best of luck during the New York session, and because today is the last trading day of the week, I wish you a wonderful weekend, and I hope to see you same time Monday morning, 10 a.m. UTC, 11 a.m. West African time. to look at the market one more time. So wish you best of luck this weekend, and bye bye.